And we are live. Wrestle Purist Live, hosted by myself, Joe Hulbert. We missed the stream yesterday, but back again today. SmackDown in Italy just finished. A few other things to talk about as always, but first things first, please like, subscribe, get the super chats in. Any topics you guys want to talk about as well, keep it active in the live chat. But like I said, make sure you are liking the video. But yeah, man, what's going on, Joe? What's going on with you? You good?
I think so.
Survived.
Yeah. I was just telling you before we went live, I felt fresh, I was excited. Get my sprints in, and if I'm going to watch this SmackDown, prepare for tonight's program. Because, I don't see a lot of the modern TV. We said we were going to do this slot. So it's like, I'll watch SmackDown. And I was watching it, and I was enjoying some snacks. I felt myself kind of slouching in the chair and
sinking.
Sinking, yeah, that's the best word for it. Looking up at the clock occasionally, kind of going. I don't know how I feel right now. I'm very tired after that, though. I know that it was a long experience.
That's what that show will do to you, bro.
Yeah,
SmackDown.
I've noticed.
It slumped you, bro.
Yeah.
Took you into deep water.
I feel like I did a 12-rounder or something.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm glad to be here. This should be fun. And if nothing else, I think that show probably will make for some interesting... Well, I'm not going to lie. It will make for some funny conversation. Not interesting. There's no way it will be interesting. What can we say about that show that was interesting?
It's such a good start, fam. Such a good start as well, fam. Like, so... obviously these European crowds, they put the heart and soul into these chants, bro. Yeah. They came out, they sang their hearts out for Randy Orton, bro. Sang their hearts out for Randy Orton, and 3 hours later, I don't know, bro. The reaction to that main event segment. Let's start with that, because obviously SmackDown in Italy, it just happened, so we're gonna have to touch on it. We're gonna have to talk about it a little bit. I'd never normally do any form of SmackDown recap or anything like that, and that's not going to be what's going on here tonight either after that 3 hours. But obviously we'll talk about what's just gone down. That main event segment, it was the segment everybody was waiting for, bro. Everybody was waiting for this segment. It's funny how they promote these things as well, bro, because it's like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk under one roof. Right. You're like, they're promoting it like just the idea of this thing is just like it's so big, and it's like some shit's gonna go down. The segment happens, bro, and truth be told, bro, nothing really happened.
Well, that's not true. That's not your. That's where you miss the details, because you don't watch SmackDown. They pointed at the sign.
They pointed at the sign, bro. They pointed at the sign.
I know what that means. I think dude.
In case you didn't know, bro. In case you didn't know.
They're going to wrestle at WrestleMania, dude. I'm telling you. They
pointed
at the sign.
Pointed at the sign now.
I usually hate the face-to-face in-ring promo. But if ever there was a feud that I actually thought needed like an interesting war of words, I think this was it. Because currently this feels like different things like mashed together in the name of WrestleMania. And this angle felt like the booker kind of just going... Yeah, that's exactly what it is, actually. I haven't got the time to think of what this should be yet, so I'm just going to, Yeah.
I feel like, you see the two big segments this week? Yeah. Obviously, Cena talking for the first time as a heel, and this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you've got these two segments, and I felt like on Monday, when Cena came out, there was nothing to his content that told me that, and I'm not saying he did this, but there was nothing to his content that told me that wasn't something that he just went out there and just like did, There was no real depth to it. It was like, obviously he knew he wanted to be like the whiny, blame the fans, you people promo. And like I said on Tuesday when I did the review with Rob, like it does work with him because it's Cena. Like Cena can do a you people promo, you get me. But either way, the tone was very whiny and he talked in circles quite a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it didn't feel like this very like thoroughly thought out promo with any depth or like anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And this what just happened on SmackDown, bro. They didn't do nothing. They just went out there, pointed at the sign, scrapped a little bit. The brawl itself wasn't even that good, bro. The brawl itself wasn't good either. Crowd... It was very kind of just like falling over and just kind of sluggishly, slowly moving around. Like it weren't.
The crowd wasn't crazy either. For like considering it was a European TV, I don't know. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before we went live, and we'll just talk broadly because I don't want to move away from the main event segment, but this kind of it's a really weird watch, that show, because individually there was a few things I liked on the show, and like the matches, while they were almost all too long, the talent worked hard and there was some good stuff in the matches, but the spacing between everything is really tough, man. The way they promoted the main event segment with the under one roof thing, and it's like, dude, look, I get it, they're big stars. That's a lot. When it's going to be that angle, that level of promotion is kind of insane, if we're being real. I mean, you said it yourself, like it was not really much of anything. And it was the main event angle on a 3-hour television. I don't know.
People have been waiting for that all week as well, bro, because you got to think, like,
yeah.
Seth's promo the other day, bro, it was basically the dude it's that weird thing that you get sometimes on wrestling shows where it's just like the segment is basically saying like, oh, now what you're really waiting for is on this next show, and the live crowd always reacts to it a bit kind of like, what are they meant to do with it? So
right,
I mean, they really they hyped this up, bro. You would have thought they had like a real plan for it. You know what I mean? The only real takeaways from it is, as we said, they pointed at the sign. Punk alluded to what he said about his favour for Heyman owes him. And,
yeah, that intro, like that, I wanted to find out more
bro.
about. Yeah, that's the hook now, because Seth and Punk do have a good dynamic. The challenging thing is, how do you keep it fresh, right? Because they have brawled a lot now, haven't they? And they've talked trash a lot. Roman's, I mean, his history of Seth is obviously a real thing. He and Punk's dynamic is very hollow thus far. There's not a lot of depth to what's going on with Punk and Roman. We know obviously the cage match situation, but I thought this was a good chance for them to kind of flesh that out. And again, I'm not a face-to-face in-ring promo guy, but this actually felt like a time to do that, to actually have them, flesh this out, talk some trash, get us excited. Instead, it felt very kind of cookie cutter. Unfortunately, it was it was weird, dude. It was weird. It was a weird note. Yeah.
Because they're doing a triple threat now, clearly.
Yeah.
We got the sign points and everything. As you just said, like Roman and Punk is kind of the feud that would need like more fleshing out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you need to add some depth to it, and obviously that's where the Heyman angle of it comes into it. But you can't focus too much on the Heyman side of it if you're doing a triple threat, because Seth Rollins becomes a very blatant third piece.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like you got to balance all these things, and in the end, we get a segment like we just got.
Yeah. There is a distinct kind of complacency to the whole thing, isn't there? It's a very sort of,
bro.
It's very sort of, these guys are over. The people like their entrances. When it comes to Mania, they'll be fine because they're over. And here's the thing, that might be true, but that doesn't make it right.
Bro.
Yeah.
WWE at the moment.
More and more, right?
100%. They're getting very. They know. Obviously, they're very well aware of how well they're doing. Numbers,
they've mentioned it. Yeah.
Analytics, how much they throw it in our faces, the ticket prices, everything. They're making a lot of money, popping a lot of the numbers, setting a lot of records, and all these good things from a promotional standpoint. But from a product, they are definitely getting complacent, bro, because they know what it is. They know everyone's gonna whoa. They know everybody's gonna yeet.
Yeah.
They know everybody's gonna pop for the big characters and pop for your Punks and your Rollins and your Romans, and it's just kind of like, it's almost so like they know going into creative that the fans are just going to be happy to be there from the jump, and that's kind of, it leads to creative complacency. And then you get builds like this where it's like, in a general sense, I'm sure that a majority, like, everyone talks about this mystery casual fan or whatever, if you believe it's real or not, but there's people who are definitely less into wrestling than us right now, But
Yeah.
I guess in a wider sense, I don't think most WWE fans are saying, this has been terrible and stuff. But the people who really do look at it and pick it apart, they see all the holes and all the different things about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, all the popular faces, they're all doing stuff and they're all on the shows, and obviously that, the people are over and stuff, and the crowds have a good time. So, but when you're being, like I said, when you're being real about it and you pick it apart, it's like.
Yeah.
There's not really much to this Mania build, really.
I
Obviously,
think
there's kind of leaning on the Cena stuff.
that's the thing. I think even if the Cena stuff pans out as like 50% of what you and I think it could be, it will still be enough to do the heavy lifting for this build because it's such a novelty, right? John Cena as a heel. I do think it's interesting to look ahead and like kind of figure out what will this look like in a year from now, you know? And it's not something we need to do now. It isn't something anyone needs to be doing drastically. It's an interesting conversation. I think that complacency you mentioned is a really slippery slope. It's a dangerous game to start playing because you get in habits that once certain factors aren't there, you can't get away with those habits anymore, you know? Like, a lot of the... It's got a... SmackDown in particular has a distinct, like, we are killing time. That's the way you feel when you're watching SmackDown. There are a couple matches tonight, and you can't fault the talent's effort. I mean, the Profits match, I mean, they were busting their ass at it. The match was 15 minutes long, man. Like, no, everyone knew the finish of that match, you know? Like, it didn't need to be 15 minutes long. Piper and Zelina, who, to their credit, in the last couple of minutes actually got the people involved. But good God almighty. I mean, Piper took like 8 minutes of heat in that match. It is a show that you're watching it going, they're killing time here. It's a very... and, you know, honestly, Raw was 3 hours for all those years, and Raw was terrible at 3 hours for many years, but Raw was bad in like a sort of aggressively bad way in the 2010s, you know, where it was like, this show's just terrible. It was like aggressive. It would kind of hit you over the head. Look how bad this show is. Yeah. SmackDown is more... It almost feels like someone's going to you, you really shouldn't be watching this right now. You know that, right? You can just watch the clips on YouTube afterwards. I watch it and I kind of hear like Steve Regal going, you don't have to watch this, Joe. They'll have clips up on Twitter afterwards, you know?
Regal puts his arm around you like this.
Yeah, because it's
an
just,
early night.
It's just, it doesn't, it's just unnecessary. There's nothing going. I mean, I'm going to Vegas. I'm not going to be sitting there in the stadium going, thank God I watched that damn Zelina Piper thriller on the SmackDown. I mean, it's not that important, is it, you know?
It's all those things that you just mentioned about what we actually see, like the matches being padded out the way they are. And it's like all, as you've already mentioned it earlier, but all that on top of all like the padding and space filling between the matches and the segments as well. Bro, it's like a 90-minute show, really, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Like it's... I'm
telling you, dude. And again, I'm going... If they show me Vegas again with the graphics at the bottom about WWE World, I know. We all know. I know. I get it.
You've not
it's
got
promotion.
your tickets to take us one-man show yet?
I've not yet. No, I'm waiting. I got that and the Schultz
to Wrestlemania.
Because such options, man. Waiting for me. Yeah, not Schultz Hinchcliffe. My bad. I got my stand-up comics confused there. But yeah, I mean, every city we see hours of, and it's just downtime. It's why I tweeted about this, but SmackDown is a good example of why I never liked those threads that would be like, how much ring time was on the show? How much bell-to-bell time was on the show? I don't care about that. I want the show to be good. You know? A good promo is a good promo, a good match is a good match. Time is case by case. I don't want every match to go 20 minutes. Some matches benefit from being a tidy 6, 7, 8 minutes, you know? Yeah, some matches I can watch for an hour. Like,
more effective, more productive like that.
Yes. If Zelina and Piper did their finishing run and cut the heat in half, the match would have been better. Like, and honestly, that isn't even a reflection of them as talents. It's a reflection of the fact the crowd is not into them enough to have a 12-minute match right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'm not, again, that isn't blaming them, because why would they be? Zelina's not, she hasn't wrestled on SmackDown since she moved there. And Piper is Chelsea's, muscle. They're both good talents in their own role, but you can't just like throw people out there and go, why is the crowd chanting for Chelsea? It's like, because they don't care about the other people here. Self-fulfilling prophecy, you know?
There's other issues as well when it comes to kind of like the creative, almost laziness. Like, bro, this Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre stuff's crazy, bro. It's like...
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different ways you can look at it, because you can look at it from like, if you're a big Drew McIntyre guy, like myself, it's, you want to see, you think Drew McIntyre after the year he just had should be in something a lot more higher profile. He should be really one of the main players, Then from a Priest point of view, bro, he's getting the shit kicked out of him by this quote heel, and the crowd loves it. You know what I'm saying? And earlier on SmackDown, fam, they did like a video package of Drew kicking the shit out of him, and the crowd's chanting for Drew because it's in Europe and stuff. And then immediately following that, Damian Priest's music hits, and he gets like the mildest pop ever, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does get a little bit of a reaction, but it's mild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously everybody loves Drew. So it's like, how is Drew going to be perceived as the heel in this feud by the live audiences? They're just going to cheer for him because they just like him more. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you know, you kind of like exposing Priest in the sense of, I don't mean as in like he does anything bad or he's a bad worker or anything. You're just exposing that he's not that level of babyface that you can put opposite Drew McIntyre, bro.
Yep.
You just can't do that, you know, because you just make him look like a fraud. You make him look crazy.
To that point, it's very noticeable Priest is less over than he was 6 months ago. Very noticeable.
100%.
And I don't know if that's all a reflection of him so much as I don't know if the audience had as much interest in the Finn Priest thing as they thought they would. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people wanted it, and then once it happened and they kind of saw what it looked like, they kind of just went, and it went on for a while, didn't it? I mean, they worked.
Yeah, it was long.
They worked on it in January after the turn in August or July even. So he's definitely cooled down. You do get the sense that Drew, I think portions of the audience think this is kind of beneath Drew in some ways. Fair or unfair, that's the sense I get. Drew kind of seems like he's just checking in and out to me. He doesn't seem like he's desperate to get this Damian Priest feud. I think he's pretty disappointed.
He did a pretty good pre-tape promo. I think it was last week when he was like justifying his actions and being like, he's been the guy who's benefited every time I've been screwed, blah 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 blah. Like, he give it like some real.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pro, right?
That's what I'm saying. He gave some real logic, but it's at the same time, at the core issue of this is that people like Drew more than Priest, and Priest is supposed to be the babyface. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's tough, bro.
It is. It's a feud that feels destined to be like a cold match at WrestleMania, which is a shame because their match in Glasgow was like really overachieved, man. Yeah, they kicked the hell out. I mean, I'm sure it'll be physical, right? Because they're going to beat each other up in there, but it just feels destined to be on after a big match, doesn't it? And to be wrestled to silence. Like, it feels like a lot, which is a shame because all that Drew has done over that last year, I don't know. There are a few things on SmackDown that I think are connecting. Like, Jacob is getting over with the live fans in a way that's very, very interesting as to what you do with him. Because, to be honest, you could absolutely talk yourself into turning him babyface. But I don't think that's the best thing for, like, the roster, you know what I'm saying? But they love him. Like, again, I don't think it's the right thing, but I could see it being tempting because people just want to cheer him because he's so cool. That is one positive. I mean, again, there's other positives, but one thing I would say is I thought Jacob and Braun's actual match tonight was better than what they did at Saturday Night's main event.
Oh, way better.
Yeah, Braun
obviously
looks
it was a cool angle
better.
that they did at Saturday Night's main event.
Yes.
I did love that angle, but you know, obviously as a match, this was way, way better, bro. This was something to this, you know what I'm saying? Even though it still ended in a DQ, but still. Yeah,
Jacob's bumping was terrific, and I think he kept things moving. And Braun looked better here, right? He looked like his legs were under him.
Yeah,
more,
he's
you know.
There, man.
So I guess the Mania match I guess they're gonna do like LA Knight, Jacob, Solo, all those guys are gonna be in a match, aren't they, at Mania? Like some sort of scramble, whole shit, right? Probably, because like what else is Jacob gonna do?
Bro. I don't know, because nowhere's really like reporting too much on what Jacob is doing. The only thing that was like, you know, like 3 weeks ago or something, Meltzer said that Solo and Jacob, the last he heard, was not planned for Mania. But obviously that could be planned for Mania now because there's something bubbling there. So
I just think they're both going to be in a multi-man, you know.
Yeah, so
we'll see.
We'll see what the.
You got that. One of the other positives tonight was that's probably Jade's best. I don't know how many singles matches she's had in WWE. That's got to be her like the best singles match she's had since Stat, right? Yeah, I mean that match was quite good.
Ring General Liv Morgan, bro. I was telling you this.
She's killing it, dude. Like, I'm not actually that surprised because it was always pretty apparent to me that the agent was killing her reign as champ. It was very obvious to me. Like, but she's also got better and she's confident right now, right? She can tell she really thinks she's in a rhythm, and she is. The match went pretty well, and like I thought Jade actually. It was very obvious Jade was super motivated because I think she knows, like, she's got to kind of make a statement coming back. Finish was one of those ones that you circle and kind of go, interesting, right? And not in a heinous way. It's just that's like old school wrestling thing to me. It's like, yeah, we'll settle things back in here. Naomi got a pretty good reaction as a heel. It wasn't a like. It felt a little bit like one of those reactions of like the crowd kind of. Yeah, sure, we'll boo her, Like, I don't know how passionate they were about it, but they played along. And Naomi looked like a superstar, and like she seems to be going for it with this run. So that was,
she came
again,
really cool,
she did, yeah. And again, these are things on the show that I liked. We were talking before we went live about the Profits turning babyface. Explain this to me, because I was very confused. I was very confused.
Bro, so they came back taking out everybody, like heels. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they were on. You know what I mean? And then they got the tag title shot eventually. And they faced DRY, who were also heels. So you're just assuming that, where was it? SmackDown was in, like, where was it? Like France or where was it? It was in Europe It was in Europe last week as well. I'm pretty sure.
It was in. God. I should know this.
Wherever it was in Europe, bro. But like,
I shouldn't know this.
It was a rowdy crowd, So you're assuming, of course, they're gonna pick the Profit. So there'll be situational baby faces.
Yeah.
For last week's title match against DRY, especially with them winning the bouts, obviously that's gonna pop the crowd and shit, So he's like, all right, cool. And then they came out this week as new champs, and they're blatantly baby faces now. They're just baby faces now.
My thing with that division, I know they've actually dedicated a lot of time to it, which I respect. They are just so much cooler than the other teams in that division, man. Like, I don't really want to see the other teams on TV, particularly. Like, I mean, I like watching the Motor City Machine Guns wrestle. I think their presentation in WWE is like... They're just like a couple of old fellas, and they just got no like juice, unless you know they are already. They're just kind of like
even them, bro. Even them.
Yeah, they've kind of been like this. They were like this in TNA the last few years. They're very like. It's weird when they were younger. There was a lot of personality and oomph to them as people, and now they're just kind of like guys who, happy to be there. DIY are, I mean,
so cold.
Dude, the heel turn did like genuine damage to them. That's not to say that as baby faces they were the fucking Midnight Express, but like as heels, the crowd does not care to see them at all. Who else? Pretty Deadly, respectfully, I can't even wrap my head around.
Bro, if you tweeted,
oh Jesus,
what did I do to deserve Pretty Deadly or something like that? Yeah, and after about a few minutes, I looked and it had like 120 replies, bro.
Look, it's fair enough. I watch their matches and I'm like, I legitimately would like to enjoy a Pretty Deadly, and I just can't wrap my head around it.
I'm have a look and see how many replies this Pretty Deadly tweet's got.
Yeah, go for it. The Gazas, now I will say, if nothing else, Escobar is cool, right? If nothing else, he's cool. I mean, I don't really like to see him wrestle, but he's cool. Bro. So you look at that act and you kind of go, okay, the Gazas, maybe. And they worked really hard tonight. Again, that match was fun. It's just, you can't really convince yourself any of it's going anywhere because it isn't, is it? It's going to just be, a thing to fill TV time.
What did I do to deserve Pretty Deadly 1 hour ago? 116 replies. Just say you don't like British people.
Well, fair.
It's okay, we know what you American lot are like. That's crazy, bro. Like, Pretty Deadly, like, symbolise British wrestling. Like, or Britain as a whole. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't like British wrestlers, but I do want to like that, because they remind me of, like...
I like Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah. Their shtick is kind of... It feels like something that would be on WCW Worldwide, It's very, like... And I want to be into it, but I just watch them out, I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. Yeah.
I can't. I'm with you, bro, like, respectfully. Can't do it Pretty Deadly, bro.
It's just a division of
Step too far, that is.
On TV, on TV, it's just a division of like losers, man.
It's brutal, bro. You had Nick Aldis a couple of weeks ago drawing up fucking storyboards and drawing lines and graphs and shit like that, trying to explain storylines to get these men over. It's mad. It's all mad. But look, Joe just went through it, bro. Like, all these tag teams are all just cold except for Street Profits, who have got the belts now. But who's gonna wrestle the Profits? Because you go out, look at last night. You showing me Legado and Pretty Deadly, bro. Like, I'm not fired up about any of that. You know.
No.
So, you know, we need something going on, and you know, I think the Raiders still the tag champs on Raw. I think so. I think the Raiders still tag champs on Raw, and they have good defenses, bro. They have good little tiny TV defenses, but they're nothing that's gonna like. They don't fire me up, bro. Like, I'm not gonna tune into Raw like, the Raiders are defending tonight, and I know they don't have good TV matches. I like the Raiders; they are good. It's just they don't have that much juice at the moment. So.
I don't think they're making Mania either. I think the only tag titles on the Mania is going to be they'll do a ladder match with the Profits, the SmackDown division. I think you think Hardy's get on that? I don't, but they could. I mean, might as well.
I think if they do a ladder match, they'll put the Hardys on it. I can't lie.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, fine, fair enough.
Matt Hardy is gonna milk that pop, bro.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were gonna do a rematch with Fraxium on the Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver.
Yeah,
they could do.
Problem with that is that
Raw beat him on NXT TV, bro. That's mad.
Dude, if they do Stand and Deliver, the Hardy's gonna be wrestling at like 10 a.m. That seems like it could be very challenging for those fellas.
Waking up stiff, bro.
Walking out there in their pajamas.
Need to oil those joints, bro.
Dude, the doors open for that show at like 8:30. I'm going with Contrarian Alex. Can you imagine the state of him at that time? In Vegas?
Beer on his breath still and shit.
Yeah. He's already warned me about that. Yeah. It's so anyway, SmackDown, I guess. Do you know, I think the pay-per-view 5-match card thing, I think it has its effect on the mid-card, I think, is like pretty severe, actually, the more I've pondered the mid-card. Because what's happening is, I feel, is like the gap between the top and the rest is getting wider. And so it feels like a lot of people are walking out on the TV to very little reaction now to me. Now, again, I don't watch closely, you know this. I've always tried to be clear about this, because... Like, who are the mid-carders that you say are getting, like, walking out there and getting huge pops right now? Is it a thing that's happening that I'm missing? Like, Penta's obviously getting a big push, right? And Penta's doing great. I think Kaiser's got a good niche for himself, even if he isn't getting a big reaction. But, like, who would be the other guys you'd say? That's a mid-carder. Like, Cal brings up Braun. And, again, Braun is... We can count him, but he's more in, like, the Jacob category if he's someone they clearly want to be the world champion soon, right?
Yeah.
Who's the actual mid-card, you know? Like,
it's just the two people you just said, really. In that sphere. Like, you're right, though. There is 100% something too. Like, these 5-match pay-per-views and these short pay-per-views. Like, okay, it's cool in a bubble because, you know, whatever. But, you know, if you're only having 5-6 matches on a pay-per-view card, you got to think you've got 2 women's world titles, 2 men's world titles. That's 4 of your matches. Or 4 of you, exactly like 4 storylines involved, like say if there's a tag match with one of the world champions or some shit, you know, like they've done recently. But like, that's 4 of your matches already. So it's like, I ain't even spoke about the US title, the IC title, the women's versions of those belts, the tag belts, all these different things. Right. And it's like, never mind. And these are champions. These are people who are top of their respective divisions. Never mind the people who were slugging it out trying to get opportunities at the top of these divisions. So it's like,
it's wild.
You're right, bro. You are right.
It's the opposite of 10 years ago. It was like 1 or 2 guys that were real top guys, and it was just a sea of people, and they could lose or beat each other, and it'd be like, I don't know, man, they're all losers. Now it's like there's a tier of top guy that you don't even see wrestle on TV anymore. And then there's like a huge gulf set for 4 people that they want to get to that top level, and it's everyone. And it's it really affects I think you see it in the women's division with the women's mid-card titles. Like, you really notice it, right? Like, who is Chelsea going to work with, man? Because Chelsea is actually over. Whatever anyone says about her,
apparently, even though she just
right.
lost today. But
yeah, it's you know, and that's not a. The reality is, however you approach these things, whatever your kind of
Ray count, I'll take Ray counts.
Sure, but you know, I mean,
yeah,
I could beat Ray on TV and he'd still get a pop.
Your point,
yeah, exactly.
Say,
yeah.
Like, Ray's just
no, you're right.
name. Sheamus isn't on the shows enough, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, yeah, it's an interesting thing. And again, this is not something I've fleshed out. I thought about it a couple of weeks ago because, well, and I'm not like super anti the 5-match card. I wish they would do the 5-match card without all the padding in between. That's more my issue. But I do think we're seeing over time more and more like having 5 hours of TV or more than that, 5.5 hours of TV, and having 5 matches on papes is pretty tough because you kind of train the audience who matters and who doesn't, don't you? Eventually, over time, it's like, yeah, I mean, a mid-card name to circle would be a Chad Gable. To me, you know, a couple years ago, it felt like they were more in the game to me. Monty, I don't know. It's just
no, he was 100%. This I feel like this time, like last year's Mania build, you know, like there was a very big groundswell of people saying like, "Yo, he's the man to beat Gunther." No one's anywhere near that sort of thing with him now. People like him. People pop for him and this Lucha Gable shit that he's doing. You know, people like what he does because he's great and everything he does is got a pretty high floor. To be honest, Gable. He's proven that, you know what I mean? He's ate a lot of shit in his time in WWE, and it's very rarely that what he's actually doing performance-wise is bad, you know? So, but yeah, bro, he's fell in importance 100%. A lot of these people have, man. It's,
the tag straps, dude. The 5-match pay-per-view is terrible for the tag straps, right? Like, you never see the tag teams on the big shows.
It's like you said, bro, it's, the idea of doing these 5-match shows, eventually you do build into the audience and you tell the audience what titles matter and what you know what characters and what what pushes and storylines actually matter and what ones can just be thrown on TV eventually, you know. So I was just thinking, like, if you're gonna do the 5-6 match cards, like 100% less padding and filler in between and just downtime and shit, because we all know WWE have been killing it for that for years, like just killing us with it.
Right.
But also, on top of that, you need to kind of mix up the variety because WWE seem to have got very comfortable with just kind of amplifying your point, really, Joe. Of just we'll do our world title matches and stuff on the pay-per-views, but like Laura Valkyria, she can defend it on the last Raw before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And Chelsea Green, she can defend it on NXT and. And all these different things. And Bron Breakker, he'll defend it on the last Raw or the Raw after pay-per-view and stuff like that. And it's like, you need to kind of mix it in. You need to mix it up, bro. Like, if you're going to do these shorter cards, you do need to mix up what titles are being defended and pushed and stuff on these cards, bro.
Yeah.
You can't just be the same titles again and again and again, because a lot of these titles, it feels like they only ever get defended on TV now.
Yeah, it's a weird... They've got into a strange rhythm with it, to be honest. I remember when a couple of weeks ago Gunther worked with Tozawa, maybe a month ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading it was his first match on Netflix. His first match. It was like 8 weeks into Raw on Netflix. And it's like, I do believe in the top guy being a special thing when they wrestle. But like, I think there's a... You know what I'm saying? I think there's...
Especially when it's Gunther, bro.
Right, exactly. Firstly, that, and secondly, I think there's a scale we can get somewhere in the middle on that. It's how many matches have Bron Breakker wrestled on Netflix? If you only watch Raw on Netflix, okay, guys, if you're a brand new fan, you watched wrestling 20 years ago maybe, or your kid's getting into it, Netflix, Raw is on Netflix. How many times have you seen Bron wrestle, do you reckon? Twice? Maybe? I don't know the number. Someone in the chat can help us, but it isn't just these guys, right? This is a common thing, and it's one of the things that's really strange is Raw and SmackDown are like complete contrasts in that regard. I think I've seen Jacob Fatu work about 18 tag matches this year on SmackDown. They're all the same match, too. They're 12 minutes long, they're 2 3/4. They're the same exact match every time, a house show main event. Whereas on Raw, I feel like the equivalent of Jacob would never work. They're like different galaxies, It's strange. Elliot said twice. So there you go. Maybe twice you've seen Bron Breakker wrestle. And he's a young gun, you know? It's weird, dude.
It's a weird show, bro.
It makes me feel old, to be honest with you.
Creative struggling. Creative struggles on SmackDown, anyway.
Maybe we're just washed.
Yeah, bro. People weren't too happy with today's episode.
They weren't. You know,
especially in that main event segment. Obviously, we've already spoke about it, like how much it was hyped up, and just even without hype, just the idea of Roman, Seth, and Punk doing a segment, you know, just before Mania, like you fired up for it, bro. And it was, as we've already said, there wasn't a lot to it, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, SmackDown, funny show, bro. Alright, let's do some super chats, bro. We got a few super chats built up. Keep them coming, people. You know, you guys are gonna kind of drive the topics really, because we've knocked SmackDown out the way, I guess. And I'm sure you guys have got some opinions on SmackDown as well, which we're about to get into. So let's do it. Final boss $4.99. Appreciate you as always. CM Punk is just better than these guys. Like, it's so obvious. What makes you say that, bro?
Ibu's burner.
Punk's probably my favourite out of the three, if I was gun to my head, you know. But he's just like, he didn't exactly light my world on fire in that segment. Even none of them did, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, shout out Punk, he's great. Black Yakuza 94, $5. Appreciate you as always. All I'm gonna say is Cody had better segments with all of them than they did with each other. Cody's the guy, bro. Cody's the man.
I like the first super chats, like framing wrestling like it's real always pops me. You know?
That's how you gotta have fun with it, bro.
I'm with it, dude. I mean, he's not wrong, so works for me.
Trixie, $4.99. Roman Reigns sucks, man. I can't believe in 2025, 46-plus-year-old John Cena and CM Punk, Cody also, to consistently be the best part of the company in 2025. And Roman's got his feet up now, bro. It is what it is, bro. He's kind of he's got to accept it. There's a lot of people still kind of living in like fantasy land. You know what I'm saying? Of just like, Roman's still the guy in WWE. You know, Roman doesn't give a fuck about that, bro. He's got his feet up.
That's exactly
He's making
it.
more money than anyone. You know what I'm saying? He's chilling, bro. Like, he's chilling.
Yeah.
His legacy's sealed. And anything else is just shit that he wants to do now. He'll do this sort of stuff, and you know, he'll do the big stuff for your Manias and SummerSlam, and I'm sure he still wants to like put over Jacob Fatu and little things like that, bro. But his feet are up now, bro. He's a baby face and everything. Like, as
a fan, you can still be like, I'm disappointed. I wish Roman. I'm not interested. 100%. Whatever you want, right? But I do agree with you in the point of it's probably time to accept like this is what he is at this point. And I say that I like Roman a lot. Yeah, like he turned babyface 7 months ago. It's like he's gonna just kind of be a guest now, man. He's gonna come out and they're gonna put the front of ones and like they'll chant his thing, and he's gonna be over for the rest of his life. He doesn't seem to be particularly desperate to make some sort of stance that he's the top babyface in the promotion.
No way, bro. I don't think we ain't seeing this guy. We ain't seeing this guy Roman Reigns fully like lock in until if he wrestles Dwayne and Jacob Fatu stuff. I don't think he's gonna fully lock in again until then.
Yeah.
So even if he wrestles Cody again, bro, I think he'll just kind of, because obviously like Cody will probably beat him. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
yeah, I don't think we ever get that match for that reason, to be honest. I don't think they're ever doing that match.
I still love Big Rom though. Don't get it twisted, people.
Oh, he's awesome.
I love Big Rom. I think he's the man. Isn't he?
I just don't. Bro. When he's announced for TV, I don't think like, oh, Roman's going to do something really interesting. I presume he's going to come out and like throw his finger up in the air and just kind of do his, you know, he plays the hits now, right? Like I don't begrudge him it, man. I mean, God love him. It is what it is. Punk is really interesting in this role because he's sort of like, he still has all of the quirks and the wrinkles of CM Punk, but he's also in a triple threat feud with two guys that philosophically I think are very different to him, and you kind of see him like figuring it out in real time. I actually personally think, and this is me saying this, I think Seth has actually been like legitimately really good in all this stuff. To the best, you know, within reason. Once your thoughts.
They're the two people that bring out the best in Seth, I think, because
yeah.
I feel like you know when Seth was doing more of his like clown shtick and his ha-has and the weird outfits and stuff, there would be certain people that would get under his skin and make him get serious for a sec. Cody Rhodes, after he beat him like 2 times, was definitely one of them. And I always remember but Seth Rollins, like everyone knows, I'm not someone who's just gonna willingly just randomly put over Seth Rollins. He's not my favorite wrestler in the world. You know what I mean? I don't hate the guy or anything like that, or like any like weird biases against him. But I always remember that he cut this promo in the crowd on Cody Rhodes about just fired up, bro, just pissed off. Do you know what I mean? It was very different to his usual ha-has and he-he's and sing more songs and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And I've always seen it as like that's the best version of Seth. You know, when the people that actually get under his skin as a character, and he can actually get pissed off and serious and have some depth to his stuff, and there's backstory to why he feels this way about these characters that he's got beef with and stuff. That's when you get the best out of him. And CM Punk, evidently, you know what I mean? He's kind of perfect example of that. And Roman Reigns over the years, bro, it's like even when he was full on clown Seth, it was like Roman could get under his skin, you know what I mean? And vice versa, you know, like the Royal Rumble match when Seth came out in the Shield gear and stuff. And he was doing all his clowning around then, but it's just like that was an example of it going the other way. Of like Seth actually getting to the Tribal Chief, because Tribal Chief was completely untouchable those times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, like I was just saying, Seth, you do get the best out of Seth when he's engaging with characters that he can really like tap into that serious side.
That's what I think it is. Yeah, and I also think it's like he believes in what his character's point of view is. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell he's like actually into the content, whereas I'm not totally convinced at all times that the others are. Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird match on paper, and they've yet to kind of prove it to be any less weird in execution. We'll see.
He does make me laugh though, Seth. Like early, he said something about like how he was moaning at Roman Reigns about not letting him finish the job against CM Punk, and he was like, "Oh, CM Punk's gonna ruin this place," and it's like, how? Like,
well, yeah, I mean that stuff's. There was yeah, that stuff's really common. And did you notice? This is jumping away. I'm sorry, but did I imagine did Tiffany have a line tonight that was like, "No one wanted you to come back" or something?
That's like, a bit weird, bro. It's like this next super chat from Will. It's
okay,
like Charlotte said without saying it, I don't want to work you at Mania, Tiffany. I wanted Bianca with that promo. They were just shooting from the hip, I think, bro. I don't know what was going on there.
The character Tiffany Stratton being like, "No one wanted you to come back" is fascinating to me, because like what, like, wouldn't she want to wrestle her in a wrestling match because Charlotte's a wrestler? Like what? That to me is an example of a writer being online, you know, being like,
been a lot
fans
of
are upset,
recently, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in wrestling. That segment I thought was very funny, and I gotta be honest, dude. Everyone's really mad at Charlotte Flair and like she was mean to Tiffany Stratton. It's a world title feud, man. This is talk shit.
Obviously, people get a bit weird with Charlotte, bro.
I've noticed. I'm not a big Charlotte Flair fan. You know this. Look, they both had a microphone. Go, Tiff, go. You know, you can't. I mean, if this is supposed to be the world title match, you got to step up to the occasion. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be sitting here crying tears for it in that regard. It is what it is. Talk shit. Say something back to her. You know. Fuck. This is
something. Stand up for yourself. You know.
Look, man. I definitely agree. Like, you can help out someone who's newer and is, like, you know, fresh and shot. And Tiffany, let's be honest, she's trying to figure out how to be a babyface. But some of the way people were talking about this segment, you'd think Charlotte like pulled a gun out and fired. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, talk shit to her. Go back and forth.
We joke about it as well. Like, we all know Charlotte's got some. She's got some leeway. She's got power. You know what I'm saying? She's got powers, bro. But she I don't think she's literally booking everything she says, does, and what people say to her, bro.
Right.
And that's how people treat her online. It's crazy.
It's too much, dude. It's too much.
100%, bro. 100%.
TK Banks, great example, who weren't crying when Cena buried Austin Theory. there is something to be said for if you're a push talent, like you sink or you swim. Now look, Tiffany has swam for the last, year? She's passed every test. That was a good experience for her, man. You have to step up. Like, that's not... that segment was not particularly good. It would have been much worse if Charlotte was sitting there waiting for Tiffany to get her lines off, bro. Like, at least it felt kind of real. It wasn't a good segment, because of course it wasn't. It was fucking Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton shootout, you know? Like, it was never going to be good. But at least it felt alive, at least. Good God. It's a good learning experience. Hollywood don't. Yeah. I don't know why I'm passionate about this.
Was that necessary?
I had to balance out because I was nice about Charlotte. But I just feel like sometimes narratives get set on wrestlers and it becomes like this high. It's like, dude, it was a promo. Like, they can talk shit to each other, you know? What am I going to do? Call the police?
The live chat was right as well. Like, people pop when it was Austin Theory. And, yeah, man, you're right. When you are push talent, and you're thrown into the deep end. You're thrown into the deep end, bro. It's not just the good. It's you have to sometimes you have to stand across from.
And she's done great.
John Cena or a Charlotte Flair who's gonna throw some catty lines at you, bro. And you gotta stand
fight
up.
Back. Fight
Tiffany,
back.
and everyone knows, bro. I am Tiffany Stratton's biggest supporter, bro. I've got too much stock in that woman, you know. Like, she needs to go home tonight. She needs to look at herself in the mirror. And she needs to realise that she's dealing with a different animal now.
This is the big leagues, brother. this is not Bailey going to you. Here's a line for you. No. There is none of that. To be the man, brother.
Bro. This is what I'm saying. You're in the jaw
I don't want to hear it.
You're in the jaw of the tiger, bro. You are there.
The dudes on Twitter, they're calling up the Italian police. They're going, "Oh, you got Charlotte Flair's bullying Tiffany Stratton on the telly. It's a work. Talk shit to each other. Jesus, what happened to this business?"
You can say to Charlotte as well, bro. Now, obviously, it would be a different thing if it comes out now that like Tiffany was handcuffed and she couldn't say X, Y, and Z. But you can say. There's so much shit you can say, bro.
That would rule. But yeah, you know? I don't know how it was produced. It could have been like. Because Charlotte was definitely cutting her off a lot. But, you know, I mean...
You gotta live with it, bro. You're the world champ.
I didn't get the sense from Tiffany's delivery that she was, like, going off the fly. Because you could, like, see her remembering stuff from what I could kind of tell. But
God bless.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. The reality is they need to work with Tiffany on being a babyface because it's going to be really hard for her. We saw this coming from a mile away. I don't know why they didn't realise this was going to be an issue. Like, her whole shtick is being a heel. She's never been a babyface. I said for months, I was watching these fucking Nia Jax segments thinking, why is she turning babyface? She's not going to be able to be a babyface. And they just kept doing it and doing it. And then they got here and they kind of went, well, I guess she can't be a babyface. It's bizarre. I don't get it.
It's because the heels are dying, bro. And the ideology and the idea, it's just... You see if a heel starts to get kind of like cool and people start to appreciate the work and they cheer and stuff, and we see that a lot more and more and more in recent years in modern wrestling. It feels like bookers these days just kind of throw their hands up and just like, oh, okay, we'll eventually just turn on face. It's like, no, man, dig your heels in, make me fucking hate this guy. It's like the priest Drew stuff again, bro. It's like, how do you not see this problem of them liking Drew more than Priest from a million miles away and actually have Drew do something that will actually make the crowd boo him? Because him just hitting cool moves like his fucking... I forgot what the fuck his finisher's called. What's Drew's finisher called again? I forgot.
Claymore.
The Claymore, boom. You can't just have Drew just hitting Claymores and thinking the crowd's going to have some sympathy for Priest, bro. Like... So it's like Drew is basically they've just kind of threw the hands up, like, oh, you know. So it made me hate him, bro. Fucking hell.
Well, yeah, this opens up a whole big conversation that, you know, a lot of angles are shot now without any understanding that's like what they're trying to actually do, you know. Angles are just things you do now. Like, what if he attacked him? Okay, cool. Like, it's, you're supposed to get. I mean, the idea is that each angle solidifies the people's reaction to them. You're just doing stuff for the sake of doing it is no value to anyone. I don't fucking know, man. This is inspired. We're quite fired up tonight, aren't we, about this SmackDown program? I'm proud of us.
To talk about, bro. You know?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's still kind of early for us in terms of like podcast times and shit. So
It is. Not for long.
I got a little bit of energy.
I do too. I'm getting into this now, yeah. What else do you want to bury?
My live chat. They're throwing the fastballs, you know what I'm saying?
Keep it coming, folks. Keep it coming.
Speaking of fastballs, we'll get to that in a minute. The final boss 499. Honestly, Dwayne needs to get back on TV in the next 2 weeks to pick this hype up for Mania. It's not even a joke. Triple H's fault. He is so relied on. We can't just keep leaning on Dwayne, man.
Dwayne. Fucking Dwayne. I think it is godly that, like, it genuinely is possible that Dwayne just isn't in the build for the rest of this whole thing. And I think that is, like, spectacular. The fact that with Rock, he could be on every TV or none, and it wouldn't surprise me, is magical. What a unique force of nature he's become, huh?
And you can tell creatively that he's got some things, like, he wants to do them so other people aren't doing them, you know? You know, like, Cena didn't touch on Dwayne or Travis at all on Monday. You know, like, Dwayne wants to be a part of that segment. But, like,
Look, man, I'm not a scoopster. I don't know anything. This is just a smell test.
All right.
Everyone in that creative room, they sleep a little worse because of Dwayne. They look out their window at times in fear, you know? They hear the theme crackling in their ears. Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, It don't end well, you know. It don't end well.
It's like when WWE's doing releases and you got all the talent that people are saying don't answer the phone. It's like those creative people, when they see that Brian pop up on the phone.
8:30 p.m. on a Thursday, just shaking their hands, can't even hold the phone. Like,
oh man.
Just, you know, watching TV and, like, Rock's new movie gets a trailer and they just fall to the ground in panic. You know, think he's coming out the TV for him. It's just scary, dude. It's scary.
Oh, bro. What's the Rock's company called again? Like $7?
$7. Yeah, because he had $7 and he's
$7. That's the one. $7.
I was watching that damn telecast tonight and they were doing, I can't remember what it was. It opened with Randy and Kevin, and then Dame Priest came out. And it flashed up the graphic, and it was Jimmy Uso, and I just laughed. I couldn't help it. Why does Drew McIntyre keep working? He has no chemistry with Jimmy or Joe. I've seen their matches. I've seen them. There's nothing left for us to discover here. They can't...
Jimmy's matches is funny like these days because like, when he started putting his working boots on recently and they started booking him for a singles match every week, like he was a promising start, and now like his matches have promising starts. Like he'll throw a few nice chops and shit, and then they're just kind of like, and then they just kind of like fall into this like existing, you know? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, you know, the chop thing has been a nice development for Jimmy. Becoming a chop guy has been nice, you know? It's good stuff. I don't know. That was on there, and then Shin was out there trying his best when they bless him. Bless his heart. Just looking at him. I just look at Shinsuke and I think, God, what a towel this has been, you know? If only they know the kids out there.
When he ends up in AEW, bro.
Oh my dude. Collision will never be the same. That fucking Action Andretti match is going to have him by the balls, brother.
Big Mac.
Joe
TK going to be gassed to drop the graphic as well. Don't know what he's got himself in for, man.
Can we talk about Joe Tessitore, please?
Oh, he gives it his all, Joe.
I love him so much, but he has to accept he's not going to be able to maintain his energy throughout. He gets so excited about stuff, and then by the third hour, he sounds like me. He's sitting there, and he's... At one point, they did a thing, Naomi, like... What did she do to Jade in the post-match? She, like, hit her head on the... What did she do? On, like, the announce table or something? I forget. I watched the show. But she did something, and Joe Tessa went, oh, jeez. Joe went, oh, God. It reminded me of what... Fuck, Joe, calm down, man. You got to do another main event Jimmy Uso match, man. He's trying his absolute best. Him and Barrett are a good team, ironically. It's a shame they have nothing interesting to talk about. I don't know. At least we had some fun tonight, didn't we? I guess. Montel, you're muted, brother. But yes, it was good fun, and Jimmy Uso he's trying his best. He's a chop guy now. He's a chop guy.
He is. Alright. So yeah, some people are calling for Dwayne back. Super Chat's name I'll never say. 199, appreciate you as always. Tiffany is all time bad on the mic, bro. All time. Come on, bro.
All time is crazy.
Come on, bro. Like, just relax. Speaking of relaxing, bro. Ibu of WP 199. Much love. I'm mad. Not even sure what. Yeah, Ibu's been crashing out, bro. Me and Joe were like howling before the show. Where's the tweet that killed us, bro?
It was.
He's got 476 replies, bro.
He tweeted, Italy got scammed. That TV was a borderline unacceptable waste of 3 hours from a promotion that has creatively lost their passport. That show doesn't happen in 2023.
Bro,
underrated part of this, dude.
Replies, bro. That's mad.
Underrated part of this tweet. Borderline unacceptable. Like, it wasn't unacceptable, but it was fucking close. Playing a dangerous game there. Italy got scammed. Oh, that's great shit, man.
Italy got scammed.
He tweeted, clean out creative and get fresher and younger voices in. Bro said, sell the team. Fucking, just please, God, get up.
Clear out. Revamp. You get me? Sports project.
And the thing that annoys me is...
SmackDown is worse than NXT.
this arsehole, right? He goes... Every week I would watch SmackDown. I did a SmackDown grin along and I'd watch it. And I go, SmackDown's terrible. And he would message me on Saturday morning. I didn't have a problem with SmackDown. And he's only just realised the last 2 weeks the reason he never had a problem with SmackDown was because he skips all of the stuff in between the actual things that happen. Which again, as you said earlier, 90 minutes, right? 2 weeks into this experience of watching the show in full, he hates it. He's enraged by it. He can't believe how bad it is. I said, I've been telling you this for months.
He's saying it's worse than NXT, bro.
Yes.
So he's
I was so mad.
He's very mad, as he says here on the screen.
I was so mad about SmackDown once that I contacted an AEW main eventer and said, have you seen SmackDown lately?
And they were definitely like, nah.
They said no. And I carried on. I just told them what happened on SmackDown. I said, you won't believe what they had Candice LeRae doing on SmackDown. It's fucking terrible. Oh, Jesus. Well, I never.
That's what it does to you, bro. This is what it does to you. It makes you feel like you're going mad. Like, this is what these long shows and shit could do to you, bro. It's mad. It's just mad out here. But, alright. Final boss 499. Uncreative. Should just be Punk and Roman. This is just stories mashed together. We're trying to tell a Heyman story with Seth there just because he hates them. Well, yeah.
I don't know, man. But would Roman like be locked in on that, or would it just be the exact same thing without Seth's energy? It could just be that, right? Would Roman be like really locked in if it was just him and Punk? I feel like he would just be kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's just lying to Heyman, saying that he's going to be locked in and motivated. But
tremendous.
Farhad 799 Saw. The triple threat should open night one.
I
Listen,
think
we've kind of spoke about this a couple times, and it's like, obviously, like if most of you guys obviously watching this probably do follow Ibu and know kind of like he don't think that CM Punk should main event WrestleMania because this situation doesn't call for CM Punk finally reaching the mountaintop. Do you know what I'm saying? Like finally getting what he wants. He thinks that CM Punk should be main eventing at WrestleMania for the world title after winning the Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber, not just in this triple threat match that's not even for the world title sort of thing that doesn't really match up with what he thinks that the goal that CM Punk wants to achieve, and I do think there's definitely something to that, but Roman's probably going to want a main event, you know what I'm saying?
That's
so it's just like, it is what it is. I feel like I'm very much just kind of accepted it, I would pop big for the women's triple threat main eventing, hopefully that the bill, hopefully the bill goes well with his last month, but I'm very accepting of the idea that Roman's just obviously Roman's main eventing. It's Roman Reigns, bro. He's gonna keep the streak going. He's gonna, I think he's gonna fully break the record as well if he main events a night this year. Because isn't he? He's tied with Hogan, isn't he? And it's like people are like, he broke Hogan's record because he main evented both nights. But it's like, does that really count? You know what I mean? Like it's, So it's like I think this year he like fully breaks like. The amount of years he's main evented WrestleMania.
We're in the same spot on this, and I think the EO triple threat should main event, but I don't buy for a second Roman's not main eventing night one. That's
what I'm saying, bro. It's
we're in the same spot.
It's tough sell. It's tough sell, bro.
That's why I'm not even. If the women main event, it'll pop me like you said, and it'll be a nice. But like I'm not expecting it at all because I just think Roman's going to just main event the show. Roman's main event. Look, again, we're pro Roman here, folks. Some of the shows he main evented there when he was on top were unhinged. He would main event shows that had no right main eventing. He would just show up and go, I'm main eventing this one. See you at the end of the show. He's
That's
a beast,
blood,
man.
Bro.
Oh, that was an all-timer. With the Dwayne with the fingers.
People don't even remember that match.
Dude, that match was unhinged. It was like half an hour long. 6 solo nerve holds. God, what a ride it's been. What a ride.
That's a funny thing. I think because so many people are so mad about all like different aspects and different parts of this Mania build. But don't you think it's funny? Like, I mean, me and you and a lot of our audience and a lot of fans in general, so could have seen this coming from a mile off. But it's still just funny to me, bro, how much time and effort they invested in Solo Sikoa as like a main event heel, just for him to now in this Mania build be like pretty much a non-factor. Like
there is
so you wasted all this time. You dedicated so much of Cody's reign to him. You've dedicated all these different things and time and effort to him just for him to just kind of be like there.
Yeah,
just there now.
There is no way the Bloodline Civil War thing was supposed to culminate with the Netflix. Like, they absolutely expected Rock to be involved in that, right? Like, there's no way that whole thing, the whole arc of the Bloodline being split, there is no way they thought, that will end with just, like, the Roman Solo match, and that'll be it. Like, there's no way, dude. The Rock... Because you look back on it now, it's like, what even was the kind of compelling piece of that? Because do you remember when it started? People forget this now. When it started, everyone's theory was that Solo was just acting on behalf of Dwayne, right? He wanted guys whacked and such. That was what everyone thought was happening. And that obviously never came to be.
Then when Dwayne, I swear there was something like after Bad Blood or something, when Dwayne came back, like someone asked Solo about it and he was like, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
Like, what plan, bro?
They did have that cage match though, Cody and Solo. Remember that? It was good. They had that, and Solo had good heat for a while. It's just like it never evolved.
I ain't even calling that shit Civil War, bro. We was at Civil War, Joe.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
War Games was pretty good though. War Games was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but
Because
no,
of
you're
the-
right. We
yeah,
saw
but because of the other outside pieces, really. Do you know what I mean? Like CM Punk and shit. Bronson Reed breaking his leg coming off the top of the cage.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
recorded with Ibu that night, and he did like a 20-minute speech about how Bronson Reed did the right thing because like it was a legendary moment. And I was kind of going like, yeah, man. I was like nodding, and then about 2 days later, I sat there and thought about it. I was thinking, that was so wrong. Like, what a terrible take that was, you know. And then later on in
just
the recording,
as he's emerging, you know, he's
Yeah.
out for a year or however long he's gonna be.
because
out
the
for.
reality is like, and we're all guilty of it. It's not a crime. It's just, but like, we all move on, right? Like you forget he was even red hot now, don't you? You don't even think about it because he's been out
That's what I'm
outside
saying,
our
but
mind.
The only time that works is Cody Hell in a Cell.
If you're a real top guy, you can go away and people know. They remember. If you're
And it has to be so. It has to be. There has to be like a level of
specific,
drama
yeah.
and sort of stuff to it. You know, like I said, that Cody one, it was just like
Yeah.
as soon as he took his jacket, robe, coat off that night, and we saw the bruising, and I know for a lot of us, we're like squinting, trying to figure out if it's makeup or not for a few seconds first. But like once it settles in, that
Yeah.
shit's real, bro. Like it's like.
Oh, that
He's a
made
legend. He's a legend on that night, there and then. You know.
Yes.
So it's just, it's different for different people, but like just coming off the top of the cage. So it's a spot that we've seen loads of times before, and granted,
Yeah.
there is a uniqueness to someone as big as Bronson doing it. Even though we have seen similar things in the past before, like I know like Rikishi's come off the top of the cage. I think like Umaga might have as well. Do you know what I mean? There's been huge guys that have came off the cage before, but obviously there is a novelty to that. But it's nothing where you're going to be like, oh.
No, you can tell it won't live forever. You can already
It
tell
was worth
won't.
it. Like,
Yeah, definitely weren't worth it. I mean, you know, I'm not knocking him. Like, I get it. It's just
obviously, he didn't mean to do it.
right, exactly. Yeah, I would, you know, because some people do the thing where it's like a guy gets hurt, and people kind of review it like he did it with full intention of breaking his feet. You know, why did he do that? You know, it's like, well, I think he assumes to do it about breaking his fucking ankles. You know, yeah. Anyway, the Bloodline. I'm sure Solo will turn it around.
What about Hikuleo?
Oh baby, once they get him rolling, then you fucking
Bro, Hikuleo.
Hikuleo and The Rock.
Hikuleo, apparently they're just not really using him in NXT. It's going to be like similar to the approach that they took with Braun Strowman, where he's just training a lot, and then he come on, man.
He's been a full-time wrestler for years. What do you mean, like Braun Strowman, man?
They train him up and introduce him like a big deal on the main roster, bro.
But
Like,
Braun
this is-
Strowman. Oh.
It's not, I don't know, bro. And apparently as well, I can't remember if this was like Dave, Sean, Michael, whoever it was, bro. So my bad on that, people. But apparently they're not that impressed with Lance and Hawaii either. Joe.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised by that. I mean, Hikuleo he's chasing history because he could beat the Davey Boy run a couple of years ago when Davey Boy got re-signed and he worked that dark match.
That no one's beating that. Hikuleo will get a chance on TV, I think.
Yeah, maybe. He's not even that bad, bro.
He's not, bro.
He's really not that bad.
He's nowhere near bad enough to like, oh my god, we need to hold him away.
I'll
like,
put it this
nowhere
way.
near, bro.
If I
I'll
was
watch
booking an
NXT every
NXT,
week.
yes, exactly that. If I was booking an NXT, I'd be like, yes, give me Hikuleo, dude. I'm pushing fucking Ridge Holland over here as my top heel. I'll take the big man. At least he's fucking tall, you know. Jesus.
Yeah, I definitely would give more of a chance to Hikuleo than Big Ridge the Fridge. Kale, 50 pesos, much love as always, brother. Phony ass triple threat. The Raw Women and Naomi Jade business feels like the only build with energy and direction besides maybe Cena and Cody to me. It's there's a lot of holes to poke in this build, bro. You can pick them all apart, man. Even Cena Cody, you know, a lot of us have been picking it apart since obviously that first promo the other day. It's kind of been the discourse this week, so.
You think Naomi and Jade make the card? You're getting a lot of TV time, right? I'm not sure.
Should.
It should.
If
The
you're
TV time
if you're turning Naomi heel as well, because I'm thinking of it from that point of view, not just like, oh, you know, it's a big match for the women and put it on the card, and you know, it's a big angle and stuff. I'm thinking like you really want to drive home this Naomi heel turn and stuff like that.
You definitely should. Yeah. I'm wondering what they're like. Chelsea, I don't think's making it.
I don't think she is either.
I think Lyra is gonna work with Bailey. Maybe.
Isn't Bailey's working Rocks, isn't she?
That's dumb, bro. No way. Do you see that tweet Bailey did about Jimmy Butler? It's fucking cooked, bro. Ain't happening. I don't know that, folks. That's just
what? You lost me, bro. I swear down. I don't know what you're talking about.
Bailey tweeted like.
Let me go to Pam's Twitter.
Yeah, she tweeted
Bailey, innit?
Sure. She tweeted a clip of like Jimmy Butler talking about his philosophy as a basketball player, and I thought this was one of the funniest things that ever happened. And I concluded that this business has been changed. Well, they're a player.
Where is it? What? How did I miss this, blood?
Yeah, this is right up your street, then. I quoted it on my burner.
The WWE women are the funniest people on Twitter, bro. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, sometimes I go on Alexa's Twitter, bro.
She doesn't post anymore, dude. I will never forget you texting me that day when she was like dealing with a Hoover not working or something. Do you remember? I was in. All right, hang on. Let's talk about this. So, I was doing something or another. It was something like vaguely important or strenuous, and I got a text from Monty, and it was like laughing emojis, and I was like, "What's this?" And it was like Alexa Bliss had taken a photo of a Hoover, a vacuum, and was like atting like the help accounts on Twitter, like, "What is happening to my fucking vacuum?" She was tweeting like someone that had like 40 followers. It was spectacular.
She's a beast, bro. She's a beast. But yeah, the WWE women, they're pop me, bro.
Yeah, they're awesome. But yeah, I think it might. I still don't know what's going on with the Judgment Day White Six. I'm losing confidence rapidly. They got a lot to do, man. They got a month, you know. Alexa's not even in the White Six yet. Maybe it's Bailey and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel. Maybe that's the match.
How does Karrion Kross fit into all this?
Well, Triple H has been asking that question for years. Yeah, he's on
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
No, you see, he's been in the background of a few segments talking to Dominic Mysterio, and obviously all the tension with Dom and Finn that they've been doing on screen recently as well. So I do think there is something to the theory of Karrion Kross playing into this Judgment Day business or kicking Finn
could
out
be
or something like that.
If JD's not around, Karrion Kross could also be the sixth man in the sixth thing we just talked about. Running out of weeks, bro. You know?
Yeah, we got a month, bro. We got a month. Well, just under.
They also haven't like referenced them on TV at all.
Yeah, but that's how they like it.
Well, I guess I don't fucking know what's going on, dude.
What is going on with Alexa Bliss and the Wyatts, bro? Like,
I honestly,
like, you see all the talk this week and all the...
Yesterday, the range of conversation about that whole deal was unbelievable. It went in every direction you can imagine, and there was no conclusion. I think Sean actually had a post today or like a story today that was an actual kind of conclusion of sorts, where he said like everything's fine. I think was what I didn't read the story, so I apologise to Sean if I'm misquoting him. But yesterday, people were frantic, dude. It was bonkers. I don't know what's going on.
They did a tweet. Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Was that yesterday, the White Six tweet?
They did a tweet, but like it was after all this conversation, wasn't it? And then people were like, oh, maybe they are still a thing. I don't know. I can't keep up with it all, man.
Will Chisholm, $2. Liv's been watching New Japan Kenny Omega tapes. Come on, bro. We'll put her over. She's been, you know, that's the ring general of SmackDown, you know what I'm saying? But
there legitimately may not be a wrestler in the world that she is less like than Kenny Omega.
Darren Walker, £5. Liv Morgan, the best female in WWE in 2025. Her tag title win, her performances in the Chamber, and tonight she should have a big WrestleMania match. She's very popular, bro. She's very popular.
She should totally have a Mania match, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And it should have some sort of meaning attached.
It shouldn't, it shouldn't be like a fatal 4-way tag, you know.
Yeah. The final boss, 199. Roman coasted last Mania build as well, to be honest. He could, though.
Yeah, man. Roman's season finale was actually the putting over Jay in London when Monty and I were there, because he knew we were there.
Basically.
He never looked in after that. Like, look at the LA Knight feud where he was just like... The Rumble feud with Uncle Alan and Randall and whoever else LA Knight was in that, I think.
Feet up, bro. Feet up. Black Yakuza 94, $5. Hunter winning Book of the Year, coasting complete off of seeing his heel turn. He's going to be kind of funny. He really shouldn't, but he probably will.
Booker of the Year.
No, bro, I don't know. People don't hate AEW so far this year, so...
It's impossible to know this March.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's just the AEW title is kind of... Obviously, it's in a weird...
Vibes are definitely up in AEW, to your point. It definitely feels 100%. Less... Late last year, like, the sentiment seemed to be like, Tony Khan's finished as a booker. And now it seems to be... Maybe not. Maybe it's just then it switched the title. If Swerve loses, however, I think that sentiment will ramp up. I'm talking from the outside looking in here, folks. I'm very out of the loop on these things.
The final boss, $4.99. Dwayne just doing a workout at 5 p.m. and calling Triple H saying, I have an idea. I want Cody to sell his soul to me. Take these matches off on coming Friday. When those $7 calls, bro, I'm telling you. Spooky hours. He's
a dangerous man. He's a dangerous man.
Spooky. Anjan PN, $2. Appreciate it as always. The Mania cards are looking bombastic. Fire emojis. Yeah, man.
I don't know what the cards are. Maybe. I don't know what they are yet. I mean, there's only 5 matches, I think.
The final boss, $1.99. I thought Rock was going to be angry at Rome losing. Yeah, obviously that was a very, very logical theory for a lot of people.
That was, yeah,
you know?
That was totally the idea, 100%. But you know,
bro,
it is what it is.
And Jean Pierre, $2 again. $2 again. Is bumping on Spike the first step of fixing Mox?
Fixing him.
I don't, bro. Like, you know, we're too far gone at this point. In the sense of like this reign being turned around and being finished in a way that it will be viewed positively. It's way too far gone now, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But I have said, I think I said this coming out of Revolution. Like, I do think with Swerve being involved now, but they can kind of like salvage something out of this.
Yes,
you know,
I agree.
And make the people stop hating it as much as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So you know, and obviously, like, having such a, almost like an iconic visual in that match with Cope the other day, at least we kind of got something out of them to mixing it up, because obviously it's been very, at the end of the day now, people will remember Mox and Cope for that Spike spot, and obviously them stinking up the main event of Revolution, which is better than just being remembered for stinking up the
just
main
for
event
the first
of Revolution.
One.
So, you know, it's a step in the right direction, but in terms of like full on like redeeming this reign, like I don't think that's possible. And in terms of redeeming Mox as an actual performer, like I've never fully turned on Mox and been like, oh, he's shit now. Like he's just
yeah, shit happens.
He's just misguided at the moment, bro. You know, like that's all it is.
He's got bad influences.
He's still Mox. I still think he delivers his promos and has pretty decent matches, barring, you know, like that Revolution main event was.
Yeah, most of the matches have been good, to your point.
Yeah,
I've
liked his work, his in-ring work as a heel. Well,
yeah.
Obviously, that Revolution one was such a disaster, you know. But Anjan again, $2. Adam the Edge Copeland is truly a hilarious man. He is, bro. He got his curtain call. You pop for that, Joe.
Was this the thing with the FTR? Is that what you're talking about, the post-match thing?
Yeah, man, they all had to applaud Edge. And,
Oh, yeah.
we couldn't have a Swerve angle. You know, we couldn't.
The Dax thing was interesting, though. Didn't they turn heel? Feels like it, doesn't it?
They probably should, to be honest. They've
Yeah, it's probably time.
They're very much.
The problem is,
they're very much just there at the moment.
Are the Syndicate heels or babies? Because if they are heels, like, I'd want to keep FTR babyface until they do that match, you know? That match would be spectacular.
Well, because of what we were saying earlier, obviously we was mainly talking about WWE, but it's like Hurt Syndicate's another example of it, bro. Like, I love the Hurt Syndicate. They're one of my favorite things in wrestling right now.
Same, yeah.
But it's like they are apparently supposed to be heels, but obviously people love them so much,
yeah,
that they are received like baby faces, and people love them like baby faces. But from a creative point of view, you've clearly not really decided what road you want to go down with it, and now they're kind of just like in the middle. And when you're trying to book people to face these guys, you're faced with awkward questions that will need answering, or you will end up exposing talent or something, you know. So if you want to make them face, I'm not against it. If you want to keep them as heel them up, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, have them do heel shit, bro. Like, don't have them doing heel shit against fuckers. Like, no offense to him, but like, don't have him do heel shit against people like fucking like Commander or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because the crowd's just gonna cheer for him, bro, because they're just cool.
They also don't really, they don't really heel anyway. They just kind of beat people up, which is cool, you know. So it's like, I'm with you. I think they should be babyface. I think they're the coolest act in the promotion, to be honest.
Yeah, just babyface them, then.
No, I agree with you.
And you can basically just do what they've been doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I agree with your point that if they're going to be heels, you definitely need a change, because like they gleefully embrace the cheers, and I mean that's fine. I'm not, you know, I don't really care. I like seeing them on the TV, but it definitely is a thing it's a challenge when it's underneath guys they're working with. Because if you're an underneath babyface, like you're getting the shit kicked out of you against them, and crowds are cheering, you know. It's pretty rough, but whatever. At least they're cool.
There's always something always has to be done when the babyface is getting the shit kicked out of them and people are cheering, bro. Like,
yeah, we hurt people.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like you either just got to make the person doing the kicking, you know, make them a babyface.
And MVP,
you've got to,
he's such a good promo. He could easily just flip his promos, baby. He could do it easily. He's way too good of a promo and way too experienced. He wouldn't struggle with that at all.
Not one bit.
Yeah.
Not one bit. Well, yeah, man. Like I said, bro, I love the Hurt Syndicate. Genuinely one of my favourite things in wrestling at the moment. But that is kind of like a problem that they'll... Call it a problem, call it awkward, whatever you want to call it, because I don't think it's like an actual like drastic problem.
Right, it's a challenge, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not going to like... It's not like when they come on TV, it's going to be bad content. Like, it's not that sort of thing, you know? But it's just kind of like an awkwardness, especially from like a booking standpoint, because it's like, who do you put against them? Like, how's it gonna? Is it gonna work properly? Are you gonna like? What's the dynamic gonna be, etc., etc., etc. So, Black Yakuza 94, appreciate you again. Lackluster Mania builds and Cope ruining the build for Mox vs Swerve with his bullshit. Very sad for men's American wrestling right now. The women got me though. Women's wrestling is very strong at the moment, bro. Very strong. But yeah, man, the Mania builds, obviously, there's holes in it, bro. There's holes in it. The Cope and Mox stuff, obviously, you would imagine that's been going to at the very least, be put to the side now. You know, yeah, this Mox Swerve stuff, you know, we got a couple of weeks of that. I think we got, like, 3 weeks of that? So
yeah, it's a quick turnaround, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, let's heat this up, bro. And obviously, Let's see. What do you think of Swerve's chances now, bro? Like,
I'm coming round to it. I'm talking
myself into it. Our guys, bro, like Ayo, Ibu, they're doing hashtags and everything, bro. They're doing hashtag We Want Swerve. Listen, a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people who are fighting for that right now. You know?
after Revolution, as you know, because we did, I think it was like worldwide, like I didn't think there was much chance they were flipping the belt. I now think there's a lot more of a chance. I think it's 50-50 now. Hopefully they do. I
What's
think
changed your mind?
I don't know, vibes.
The,
Posts.
the vibes are the same, bro. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to have a sexy take for the show. I haven't really got any change of opinion really. I just my honest thing is like I just think they're committed to what they were gonna do, you know. It's my honest thing.
that's very fair. You know what the thing is?
But I'm
like,
talking myself into Swerve, I guess.
You know how like there's that little corner of like the AEW online fans that have kind of like turned to like fuck Darby, you know?
Yeah.
He wants to fuck off up the mountain, like fuck him, fuck this guy, he's not serious, you know what I mean? And it's like it's funny seeing that kind of slowly swell up into like this little section of the fan base, because if Darby walks out on Dynamite next week,
the people are gonna go nuts. Yeah.
So like that's the part of it that kind of makes me think like maybe they do just kind of stick to it, because as much as like people will kind of get mad at Swerve losing this and the belt staying with Mox and shit, if Darby is imminent, which who knows, he could be, maybe he's not climbing Everest, or maybe he's already halfway up the or maybe he's already got to the top and he's on his way back down. Who knows, bro? I don't know, but you know, if Darby is imminent, maybe Swerve does. Maybe Swerve does lose this one, but
Maybe.
I do think the idea of them digging the heels in with Mox like all the way to like all in to have Darby beat him is a bit mad. But we had Ospreay looking at the all in sign earlier, so maybe Swerve beats Mox and you do Swerve and Ospreay 2 all in.
Maybe.
I think that's a viable.
That would be, yeah.
I think that's
if I had the pencil, I'd probably go something like that. I think Moxley being Swerve would be a really big mistake, to be honest. I can't shake that feeling. Like, it's one of those, the more I think, I just kind of go, don't pass the smell test, dude. You know?
That bulldog choke would be heartbreaking.
It just feels like the kind of thing, like, spiritually you should avoid, I feel.
Nah, for real, bro. For me, it was like, obviously I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting like Cope to win at Revolution or Christian to have like a successful cash in or anything. But for me, like the next challenges for Mox, like it kind of threw me off guard when they made the Ricochet match with Swerve, a number one contenders match.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was like, okay, they're seemingly going to stick to the plan of Darby being the guy to beat Mox. So if that's the case, Mox, whilst he's keeping this belt, he can't be beating Swerve and he can't be beating Ospreay.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be doing that, bro. You know?
Right. Yeah. I think he's going to work with Joe at the next Pape if he does win. And that's one where it's like, even if I think morally it's wrong for him to beat Samoa Joe, at least with Joe, it's like he's bulletproof. Yeah. Like, it's incorrect, but it's not a big deal. With Swerve and Ospreay feel representative of like what AEW is today to the audience, which is why I think it's dangerous.
Can't beat Kenny either, but obviously he's out of the picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think to me, like putting aside my personal taste, just what I see from the outside looking in, Ospreay, Swerve, Hangman, Omega, and then like you could say Max and Darby would be like my centerpieces. You know, I think.
Yeah, I think Max is gonna have a good year, bro.
Well, of course.
I think I was saying it's the end of last year, or at least the start of this year. But like, you get MJF away from the bullshit, bro. Like, he'll quickly remind people how valuable
he's locked in.
You know,
he's locked in.
And I listen, you can call it a coincidence or whatever, yeah. But like, you see every AEW upswing, like MJF is usually quite a big part of that. Like, he'll have like a big storyline going on at the time when people are most happiest with AEW. So although he's been at the center of a Devil storyline and stuff like that, and he's had his misses, bro. I'm not disputing that, but I'm just saying, when AEW has their upswings and their peaks and stuff, there is usually a lot of MJF's fingerprints.
The show is better for when he is a locked-in MJF makes the show better. That's like the easiest way.
Locked in MJF who's actually doing shit that's like fucking important, bro. Like not, like just putting a bow on the Adam Cole stuff. It's like we didn't need him to do that, bro. And obviously the Jeff Jarrett and Dustin stuff, like that goes without saying. Even though I did like the Dustin shoot for like a brief 1 week.
Right, that was fine as a one-off, yeah.
But in terms of like, obviously that was part of like the Jeff thing they were trying to do, and it was just like, what the fuck are we doing? It's like you finally drop this fucking devil stuff off Max's shoulders. You get that weight off him. He's getting going. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and you had him doing bullshit. He gets the Hangman stuff, and he's immediately fucking no one's slandering MJF, bro. People ain't slandering him for a hot minute now. Obviously, he's got his detractors who fucking will never. Do you know what I mean? Will never give it up for him. But
he smashed Hangman over too. That whole feud was just him like being insecure about the people liking Hangman more than him, and he put him over clean. Much more, you know what I'm saying?
He knows graps, bro.
I like him.
He knows how to actually put someone over, which pops me because I think in AEW, I think it's very easy to get out of that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
If you want to kind of suggest kind of a little bit of a finish to protect
they
yourself,
all do
Tony,
it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like Tony seems to be very happy to let talent do that, and as Joe just said, he emphatically put over Hangman at that pay-per-view, bro. He did a great job. Literally.
It was his birthday the other week too. I think he's 44 now, right, Max? 44.
Last week, it was last. Yeah. I think he's the 15th. He's the 15th on the 17th, I think.
Oh, baby.
I think.
I always forget you share a birthday with Sam Joe.
I do. It's a good
pretty
birthday
sick,
to share,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
Genuinely pops me, I can't lie. Like, he's... Well, genuinely pops me.
I quite like him, man. So Joe fella.
One of my favourite guys in wrestling, like, ever, bro. But, as a wrestler and, like, a guy, do you know what I mean? Like, I love, like, I love a Joe interview, bro. He's so chill,
We don't get enough of them, man.
We need to get you to do one, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on. I'll tick the Athena box for you. We're gonna get you Lexi, Sam Joe, Machine Gun, and who else would complete the whole but
like Infinity Stones.
Yeah, the whole but Infinity Stones. The chat must know someone. Who
Roddy Strong.
Yeah, obviously, bro. How did I forget Roddy? Obviously.
Yeah.
Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you as always. When MJF turns MVP down, who will be in his new group? Hammerstone and Holiday, Wardlow, Bishop Dyer, Josh Barnett, any others?
Jesus!
There's some names there, bro. Hammerstone and Holiday would have worked in early AEW.
Yeah,
I think,
not now.
I think like the Dynasty, that group, it would have worked in early AEW, but not now. Although I do still actually have pretty decent ratings for both of them as talents. I think Holiday is one of those guys that I think would be kind of like how Ethan Page is just like a good kind of like TV guy, if that makes sense. Like he can do promos, he can put someone over, he can work a match. Do you know what I mean? Like he can do. And Holiday he's cut from that sort of cloth, I think. Hammerstone obviously is more of like a bodyguard, powerhouse sort of thing. I don't think he's kind of got like the star presence and stuff to be able to truly work in AEW. You'd have to put a lot of time into building him up, similar to Wardlow. Obviously, they don't really have the space to do like an MJF Wardlow arc again, Wardlow himself, that would be like hilarious.
You can't do that.
Bishop Dyer, obviously, come on, bro, stop it. And Josh Barnett, stop it. So
Bishop Dyer and MJF would probably have funny shtick, though, to be fair. Remember their tweets back and forth they would do?
Bro, Corby's a funny guy, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That probably would be one seed of those options. For MJF specifically, not overall. Just for Max specifically. You can't do the Wardlow thing again, dude. Not with MJF, you can't.
Gun to my head, I'd probably go Hammerstone.
Yeah. I hear
But
he's lost
none
a
of them are
step.
good. Like, he's taking the piss, bro. Like, Darren's taking the piss right now. But
Yeah, he's doing a bit.
Um,
Doing a bit.
Vontel, $4.99. Appreciate you. Honestly, one way to fix SmackDown and just have Oba come off and step over everyone. And yes, that includes Seth, Big Bro, Phil, and Fatu. I mean, that would get me to buy him, bro. Just Obafemi just runs everyone over. Like, just
What's
like
beast
nothing,
about this
literally like nothing you've ever seen before. You know?
is two of those people aren't on SmackDown, like, and one of them's Rome, who never is there. So it's just Jacob's just gonna be getting beat up by him. Everyone else is in the clear. He could come up and beat
Jacob Fatu's the Undertaker and fucking
yeah.
Oba's Great Khali in that scenario. It's just, you know, oh, Great Khali, man. Remember his initial push, bro?
I haven't seen most of it. I haven't seen
bro,
most of it. I'm not rushing to see
shit,
it either.
oh, bro, so shit. It used to be better. Great Khali was so like
Tall.
yeah, but like, bro, his chest was fucking massive as well, bro. Like he was
He was a pretty big guy, man.
but different, big different. Like he ain't just he might be one of the most. Who do you think's the most striking like big man? If that makes sense, like the most like wow inducing. Like obviously there's Andre.
I mean, when fucking Omos had those jackets he was rocking was an incredible look, dude. You know when he was with AJ?
Yeah.
Because he looked like legitimately cool as well, and he's obviously huge.
Young Big Show's a pretty good one as well.
Yeah.
Young Big Show, because he's so again, it's like you've got the guys who are like really tall, then it's like the ones who have also got some build to them. That's what I say about Khali, because Khali had like a fucking huge chest as well, bro. Obviously Omos is like big, but he ain't built like Khali.
Wasn't built like him. Have you heard the stories about like they used to have a thing where it was Khali Watch or something? I think they called it, where like the boys had to like look after Khali. Like Gallows would have to like Gallows would have to like drive Khali around for a week, show him the ways of Florida. Sounds pretty interesting. Sounds like an interesting guy.
He actually seemed pretty you know, you have a drink with the boys, you know.
There was one Gallows story of like they pulled up outside his place. I may be getting the details wrong, so I apologise to the big OG, but like Gallows started getting all of his bags out of the car so he could take them to his room. And Khali was like, no, don't do it, my wife's doing it. And like he wouldn't let Gallows help. He just watched as his wife carried like 4 bags up the stairs. He's 7 foot tall and 400 pounds. He definitely fit in wrestling is what I'm saying, folks. But
he's something else, bro. I remember
yeah.
Joey Diaz, he was on a podcast or something. He was talking about, because obviously he was on Adam Sandler's Longest Yard, and Joey Diaz was,
yes,
and there was so many wrestlers on there.
Yeah.
He was talking about like one of the nights they were at the hotel, and obviously everyone knows, like, especially back in just 20 years ago, however long this was, you know, wrestlers like to party, bro. They like to drink. Boys will be boys, you know, that kind of thing. And he was like, the hotel like bar was closed or something like that. Yeah, these man like ripped the door off and fucking just.
Yeah.
Him, Goldberg, all these man just like
they're lunatics.
They ripped the door off and just emptied the bar.
Wrestlers are nuts. I mean, less so now, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, way less so now. They're all like gamers and shit now, bro. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They're all gonna live longer lives, bro. But yeah, they were wild boys back in the day. Very like almost like frat boys and shit, ain't it?
The other Khali thing is that what did he call that movie he used to do?
The claw.
The chop thing.
The chop. What was it?
Yeah,
called,
what did he had a name for it? He must have had a cool name for it.
Let me Google it. Great Khali. Great Khali finisher. The Punjabi plunge. That was like the big double-handed choke slam, wasn't it?
Oh, shit.
The voice grip.
Oh, that was when he squeezed the guy's head, kind of crush style.
Yeah, when you iron claw shit. What was it called? The Khali voice
I don't know.
grip. The Khali bomb.
Austin said it was called Brain Chop in the video game. But the point is, like, are you aware that was like a shoot thing? He didn't know how to work it. He would literally just chop you on the top of your head. He can cast like.
Yo, I love Great Khali's stories. You know, he does pop me, bro.
I think that was what done. I think that was what killed Fandango's push. Is he got concussed via shoot Khali chop. That was what done his push.
I just want to. I wish I could hear the conversations between Taker and Vince, and that push was going on.
Oh, baby.
You know?
Another good one is Edge was working Khali in the main events of house shows, and like he went like 20 with him on a Saturday night, and he showed up. He showed up to the building on Sunday, and the co-main was like Shelton MVP for the US strap, and Edge apparently went over to Shelton MVP and was like, "Fellas, I need you to put some time in tonight. All right, all right. You're the main event tonight, boys. All right. I mean, I'll close the show, but you're gonna have the main event match. You need to take some of my time." I think is the story, which always popped me because just like the idea of him trying to do it. Yeah, there you go. He just literally used to just chop people on the top of the head.
Riley said he concussed Del Rio twice in the span of 3 months. Listen, if that's how he did his moves, bro, it's what he is, isn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't have the control that Prime Yokozuna had, you know? He did.
It's true. There's actually so many stories. But there's one where like Triple H,
bro, which is one
Triple
of my
H.
He's got some of my favourite lore, I swear to God.
I can't remember what he did, but Triple H was like at ringside watching him work out with all the boys in FCW. And I think he threw like a big boot at Gallows and like knocked him out cold. And Triple H was just like. Gallows obviously is like the funniest story too. And Gallows is like, I woke up and Bill DeMott was standing over me going, "I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you." And Gallows like, "What happened?" He got knocked out by the great Khali. I'll figure out the details of these tales. We'll circle back. But yeah, he was an interesting fella. Interesting. And he had that big, remember the cameo he had when Jinder and Randy were feuding? When he shows up at the end of the Punjabi prison match?
Yes.
Classic. Hell of a run, brother.
Bro, he's a big star as well. That's the funniest thing, bro. Like, in terms of like, as far as international stars go in WWE, bro, like he's a
he was famous.
huge name, bro. Hugely recognizable, obvious for obvious reasons as well. You know, being fucking 7 foot tall and fucking 600 pounds or whatever the fuck he was, you know. But like I said, a lot of people are very well aware of Great Khali worldwide, bro. And obviously in India, he's fucking, you know.
Yeah, big hit with the YouTube views, I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
Big YouTube view guy.
Yeah, Great Khali. I'm jumping in $2. Darby must clone K2, bro. Must clone K2 too. It's nearby. Hashtag we want Swerve. Come on, man. Don't need to be doing any of that. Swerve is still with the title.
I quite like Darby Allin. I quite like him, I must say.
Same.
Pretty good.
Adam Legend, $2. Appreciate it as always. Hurt Syndicate versus FTR with a double turn, please. Could that work for you, Joe?
It would be difficult to do like a dramatic turn, but the idea of just having their match with a dynamic flipped is a good idea. I just don't know if FTR cheated to beat the Hurt Syndicate, I don't know if the reaction set would be like, "Man, I can't believe they did that to the Hurt Syndicate." You know what I'm saying?
If you as the idea of them potentially being babyface, it's not something I don't want to like sympathise with them.
It's when you basically do it unofficially. It's implied, you know. It's like they are the babyface of the feud rather than doing a dramatic double turn. You probably would just do FTR.
Just did.
Well, yeah, you'd probably just turn FTR heel and then just have the Syndicate do what they usually do, and they'd be baby faces anyway, right? Because they kind of are.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of this Lex Luger induction business with Sting? Well, Luger's apparently asked for Sting to induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
WWE seem to be happy to at least ask AEW, and that's kind of where it's at. No one's really said anything about. No one's been able to report anything about like how AEW have received this news or received this question or what they're going to do. Everyone's got an opinion on it though. Where do you find yourself on it? Do you think they should let him do it? Do you think they shouldn't let him do it? What do you think? What do you think Tony will do? You know.
I don't know, because the difficult thing with this is, in an ideal world, this stuff should be like a no-brainer across all of wrestling, because it's just way more important things. However, it's very fair to like, this isn't an ideal world, right? There's a bunch of antics at every turn, and there's many reasons for there to be bad feelings there. So I don't expect it, to be honest. I presume it will be DDP, and I'm not going to be like on the front line yelling about what a disgrace it is if it doesn't happen, because to me there's other factors. It isn't in a vacuum, you know what I'm saying? There's like a million and one reasons why that won't happen, because the companies are at such odds of each other. My personal belief, again, in an ideal world, is that I think retirements, Hall of Fames, and most certainly when wrestlers die, I think all of the company stuff should go out the window. I've said that for years. There was a worldwide where we dedicate like 20 minutes to that. Like, to me, when a wrestler like Jay Briscoe passes, the whole industry should do a Jay Briscoe show where everyone gets on the show. Everyone that knew Jay and was friends with Jay. Same for Brody, Bray, whatever. That's an extreme example, but like a guy doing a Hall of Fame speech to me should be a no-brainer. Again, is not necessarily a reflection of what wrestling is. Unfortunately, I wouldn't begrudge them not letting this happen, because, they have a lot of reasons to resent WWE, obviously. So, but if Sting wants to do it, I think Tony will let him do it, because it's Sting. Like, is my guess.
Yeah, I think it'll be one of those things where it's like, if Sting says like, "Yo, Tony, let me do this," but at the same time, I do think maybe Sting is just kind of like, "Hey, Tony, it's up to you, bro. I ain't fussed," like, yeah. Sting's so easy going, assumably. So we'll see how it goes. I think I heard Dave did a whole think piece in the newsletter about it, and he was just like, the way they should play it really is, because obviously with it being public now, that WWE have reached out to them, put the ball in AEW's court. If it doesn't happen, obviously there'll be kind of like those people, AEW this, AEW that, Tony's so immature, Tony this, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. And obviously, a lot of that probably would be coming from bad favors, but I don't know. AEW could do. He was saying basically AEW could do a thing where it's like they'll do it conditionally. Do you know what I mean? They'll do it. It's like, you can have Sting if you let him say he's there on behalf of AEW, or if, I don't know, someone apologises for Triple H calling them a pissant company, or, you know what I mean, or you get something in exchange, and then that puts the ball back in WWE's court, and it's like, if they say no, then it's like they're the ones saying no, then, isn't it? Because there is a lot of things that AEW could reasonably ask for in exchange, So I
that
think
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
all of it's so fucking stupid, isn't it? All of it.
It is, bro. You're right. Like, all this shit should go out the window. It shouldn't even be a conversation. Like, when it comes to, as you said, when it comes to retirements, when it comes to tragedies, when it comes to even things like, I guess it's kind of a positive spin on it, but it's like, this is why it's so cool to see the shit with the Chris Bay benefit, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, you got AEW wrestlers on it. There's, I think, Karrion Kross, and I think there might be another WWE wrestler on it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, these are things that, like, throw the company shit out the window. The industry can come together.
Yes.
And if you know or care, and I'm sure there's even people who are happy to work on this Chris Bay show who don't even know him. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
and it's not.
Just like, it's just for a good cause, bro.
And it's important to say that what we're saying is not, it's bigger than that, let Sting do the speech. There needs to be like a fundamental conversation between the companies beyond this case. Because if Tony's stance is like, fuck them, like, they've very much earned that stance, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
AEW are very justified in whatever position.
Exactly, yeah. So really, the whole thing needs to, because when you say this stuff, like the idea of a guy having a retirement show and there being different talent from it, people think it's like bonkers talk. It's happened in Japan for years, for decades. It's not that deep, you know. But in America, it's like such a severe thing. It's so stupid. And I don't think that's on AEW to change that. Like, but it's just, I don't think it'll ever change because, yeah, whatever. It honestly drives me nuts because, again, to me, it's like life's too short, and none of this stuff should even be a conversation in 2025. But it is because that's the way that it is. That's the way the industry operates. It's fucking stupid.
And it's also a thing. It's like who really misses out. Do you know what I mean? With these things, it's like whatever way it is. It's whether it's Sting being allowed at the Hall of Fame, or whether it's I don't know, someone being allowed to do a similar sort of thing for an AEW legend retiring or whatever, you know. I don't know, man. It's just
it should all be, dude. If tomorrow Samoa Joe announces he's retiring and they're gonna do a retirement show, it shouldn't even be fucking like a second thought. Anyone who wants to be on that show should be there. You know what I'm saying? They won't be because everything has to be life or death and
AJ Punk.
Yeah, whoever the fuck. It's like, because reality is as fans, like, we're the ones that are actually being robbed of this shit because we're missing out on cool shit, you know?
Yeah, and it's
And that doesn't mean they have to have a working relationship where they're sharing talent. That doesn't have to be. Oh, there's a difference. Like you can.
Yeah, there's just things that are worth.
Yeah, industry
coming together for, bro. And it's like bro, boom, last night, and obviously it's something I wanted to get into as well. It's like fucking Homicide retired last night in front of a few hundred people in Brooklyn at an indie show, you know? And I'm sure there is like some sentiment to him, and I'm sure like obviously I don't know the guy, but like I'm sure he doesn't want people kind of being like, oh, it's so sad he went out like that. Do you know what I mean? Obviously he got to you know, he got to wrap up his career close to home, and everyone was there for him, and there was a very, like, you know, everyone was there for him, and it was actually like, there was definitely like a moment to it, you know. But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like I feel like there's a lot of people who may have wanted to have done a little something with Homicide in his last little run, you know. All the people, of course, like, you know, some big names coming out and saying like thank you Homicide, etc, you know, who you know wouldn't turn down the opportunity to do something for him in retirement, whether that's Samoa Joe, CM Punk, or any of the other like fucking many people who have sent messages, you know, about his retirement. But there's so many basically my point is that there's so many things that happen in wrestling, like Homicide's retirement, where you feel like it could have been more, you know?
Of course.
And when there's opportunities like this where the promotions can provide more for these legends of the game and these big moments, whether it's Hall of Fame inductions, whether it's retirements or whatever it is, it's like politics shouldn't be a thing that gets in the way of that, you know?
For sure, yeah. But it's never going to change because when you have this, I remember when we had that conversation 2 years ago, like the main sentiment in the chat was like, why would WWE acknowledge other wrestling? It's like, I don't know, man, because like they're a wrestling company and they have wrestling fans that watch. Like, why does everything have to be, everything's so transactional, you know? It's like, well, why would WWE acknowledge another wrestling company? Would it hurt them? You know, that shit. So it's everything's segmented because of that. It all traces back to that. Homicide, I think, is like a complicated case because, and I say this with love, I fucking love Homicide. He was always going to have his last match on a show like that because that's just the way his career's trended, unfortunately.
That's why I was very
that's
with
you was using an
like,
example, but
of just not being like, oh well, it's so sad because, like I said, I don't think that's how he would want people to perceive his.
Yeah, he wasn't going to have a fucking. You know? It wasn't going to be an MSG, you know. It is what it is. Like it's just fine. But yeah, I think
that's part of the charm,
for sure. Hopefully he's looked after and there's some.
That's the thing.
Support for him in the business.
It's
yeah.
like just I don't know, Tony, just throw him a contract, bro. Fuck it. You know,
I'm pretty
Sting's on
hopeful
like an
about it.
AEW Legends deal, innit? Like, just fucking put him on one of them, bro. Please.
I'm hopeful. I think Tony's generally been pretty good with stuff like that. I'm pretty hopeful. I don't know anything about that, but yeah, Homicide.
He's got those health struggles as well. Like he spoke about like the cyst on his brain affecting like his speech and his vision and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, someone who was so important to early Ring of Honor and helped shape literally what we fondly remember Ring of Honor as is. What we fondly remember Ring of Honor as. Yeah. Obviously, Tony cares a lot about Ring of Honor and the history of wrestling, the history of Ring of Honor specifically. He was part of it, bro. Look at some of his favourite wrestlers are birthed from that. So, I don't know. I think it's the least. I think it's the least that the game can do, And obviously, it kind of, whether you think it's fair or not, it does kind of fall at Tony's feet, really, to do it. Do you know what I mean?
But for Homicide, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Kind of, yeah. But then, like, I don't know. This gets into all sorts of... like I
said, whether it's fair or not, like I'm saying, it's not one of those things where it's like, he deserves to be shamed and attacked if he doesn't do it. But it's like, who realistically is going to do something like that?
Yes,
like,
in that case.
It could only be Tony, and it could only make sense really for Tony because of the attachment to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I'm not that. I think he's going to look after Homicide 20. Again, I don't know that, so I don't want to...
He doesn't owe him anything, you know what I'm saying? But it's just
no.
When you look at the figures, who it could be, who realistically it's going to be, who for someone like Homicide, it's just like he's ultimately going to fall at the feet of Tony Khan, It's just
for sure.
He is.
Yeah, I just think there's some cultural like shifts that need to be made that never will be. Like I remember when after Sting's retirement, Michael Cole was like, "Shout out to Sting." Everyone lost their minds. It's like wrestling's so pathetic, dude. Like that was considered like
Sting. Yeah.
That was people reacted to that like John Cena worked fucking Double or Nothing. Like I can't believe like Michael Cole just said something about Sting. It's like guys, that is so pitiful that's impressive to us. That says so much about how bad they've been about acknowledging wrestling outside of themselves, which is a big part of this. I mean, you hear those stories back in the day about like. They would do shit in the WWF in the 90s where they'd have like Terry Funk come out. And famously, Kevin Dunn was like, no one will know who Terry Funk is at the show because he's. And like, obviously, the crowd completely knew he was because they like wrestling, Like, it's just. It's so deep. It's so deeply entrenched in the way it's been. And the weird thing is, if you watch early WWF, really early, it's not that way at all, which makes it even weirder that they went so deep in that direction once they got like a real grip on it. I mean, it doesn't make it weird. It makes more sense, to be honest with you, but we're in the weeds here. But my point is, common sense should prevail, but I don't expect it to prevail here because Tony has every reason to say, fuck common sense. I don't owe you that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would just be a standoff. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Sting does this and there's a dialogue,
I think, yeah. I'm very hopeful of that, but I do think we just end up getting DDP. Which I'm not mad at either, because DDP is fucking great. I love DDP, but...
Yeah.
And obviously he does have ties to Lex as well, though. Sting isn't the only person in the world. Obviously he just makes fucking all the sense in the world at the same time, though, so that's that. Speaking of people moving around, Rey Fenix is as official as it can be, really. Sean Ross, Fightful Espanol reported that Rey Fenix WWE is official. Obviously, there was the teaser video package like a week or two ago, which made it pretty obvious. They did one just now on the show of SmackDown as well, which was like they did everything but literally say his name. You got to see the tattoos, basically his mask, everything. You know what I mean? So very clear. Rey Fenix is officially with AEW. I guess I guess this obviously it's nothing new, nothing really to pick apart, but there was a note in the report as well that he's not expected to talk too much on his falling out with AEW, very much the same as Penta, so anybody who was expecting like the hot shoot interview and he elaborates more on the straight jacket photo and all that shit, I don't think that's going to be happening if reports are to be believed. And yeah, man, it looks like he's coming in, bro. He looks like he's going to be debuting this side of Mania as well, bro. So
yeah, I wonder what he's gonna be doing like immediately. That's that if he's on SmackDown,
yeah,
like who is he
Raw.
working with on SmackDown? There's not really a lot of natural matches for him on SmackDown, is there?
I don't even like to think about it, to be honest.
How many times can he wrestle Carmelo Hayes? You know, it's like hopefully he does good. I think I mean Phoenix is spectacular. Obviously, I think he's a far less natural fit for WWE than Penta, but I think that speaks more to how natural Penta has been, to be honest. So. Sure, he'll do fine.
He's been great, bro. He's had a great start.
Yes.
All Elite Women, AEW Women. Did you manage to catch Megan Bain, Statlander?
I haven't. SmackDown's the first wrestling I've seen this week.
God bless.
Actually, no, I saw. No, that's right. Yeah, that is right. Hall of Fame week in the LNG land, guys. It's been very busy.
Yeah, Megan Bain and Stat, they had a very, very good main event match. It was cool to just see it in the main event just from the get-go, to be honest, especially with obviously with the world title match being on that show as well. It caught a lot of people by surprise, a pleasant surprise though, and they delivered a main event AEW Dynamite match. I thought Megan Bain came off pretty good in it. I think it's probably her best showing in AEW, to be honest. I think Chris Statlander was she's just levels, bro. Like, as good as Megan Bain was, Chris Statlander really did just like. She just
Chris is
like,
amazing.
She just looked like the one. Them ones. Like, it's like, even though Megan Bain did her thing, she came off great and stuff. But I'm watching it and I'm just like, Stat is just unbelievable, bro. But yeah, that was great. Then I guess elsewhere for the women, and you probably have seen this, Joe. The report about Athena and Mercedes potentially happening at Dynasty. It's pretty soon, Joe.
It is soon, yeah. It's a little spooky. I mean, I want to see the match, so I'm not that worried about it. But it is a little bit like, caught me off guard, definitely. I heard really good things about the Billy Starks match. The Megan Bain Stat and Starks Mercedes are like the matches I actually want to watch from the show when I get a chance. So hopefully I'll get to them over the weekend. But yeah, it is soon. I also worry a little bit about like the way this is being set up. It isn't necessarily what I had in mind, but I haven't done it yet, so I'm going to wait. Athena as the babyface is like, or I presume she's going to be, it's kind of weird to me, but I also, ultimately, all of this is, I want to see them wrestle, so I'm sure I'll get over it. It just feels like an unusual route based on what I'm seeing right now. Like,
my optimistic, I guess, outlook on it is, it's something that I've wanted to see for so long, and with Athena, it's like I want to see him mixing with these people ASAP.
Exactly, I'll just take it.
And that's exactly. So it's just one of those things, bro. But I'm hoping as well that it is just like it's a feud starter. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like we do the first match at Dynasty. And then,
it should be a series.
Then you do like the big match at All In, like the trilogy match at All In or something. And within this feud, like you just mentioned the dynamics, it's like the dynamics can flip over the feud. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like Mercedes could turn babyface in this feud. I don't think. I don't necessarily think that's the way I'd go. But I'm just saying. Like,
that's the tough
part. If
they
do a feud, it's like the dynamics can chop, change, flip all over the place, and I'm not saying turn Mercedes babyface. I'm not there. I'm just saying like if it's a feud, dynamics can kind of shift and change and be a bit more interesting. The
part that again worries is too strong. I mean, Athena is one of my all-time favorites. I have to be honest that some of the minion stuff, I would not be rushing to like put on Dynamite. I would have Athena all over Dynamite. But I'm not necessarily sure that would be my presentation of choice. So my only concern is that because it's Billy centric, they're gonna do a lot of that, and I think
it needs to be pre-minion Athena, man.
It could get a little silly, is what I'm saying, And I'm not saying it won't be like fun, but
Athena likes to get silly as well.
That's what exactly the one. Yeah, and like I think that's great, and that's part of why she's so compelling on Ring of Honor. Is she can be funny and also be like a killer. But if I'm trying to just re-establish her on AEW TV, I would be leaning more on the killer side of things than... But we'll see. Like, maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be very straight-laced. I don't know yet. But there's some things I definitely have circled of, like, this will be interesting to see how it goes. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Dynasty in, like, 3 weeks. We got Mania in a month.
Jesus.
What's the big thing you've got circled, Joe? What's your one thing? You got anything?
In wrestling?
Yeah, man. Like, you go into Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And obviously,
Yeah.
Dynasty was. Dynasty's going to be a pretty important show, it seems. So.
I don't know.
What you got circled, big man? What are you telling me?
I'm at a weird point in my life, I don't know. I'm going to Vegas and like there's people I want to see, and I'm sure I'll have fun. But like the wrestling part of it, there's not a ton that I'm like personally. I don't really have any interest really, and I'm not saying that as like. I think I'll get into like once Jey Uso's entrance starts, I'll get into it. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, man. I'm not gonna be getting on the plane going, oh my fucking god, I can't wait to get. I'm just not at that point in my fandom. I'm not going to Mel's meet and greet. I may meet Dave though, maybe. That'd be a hilarious photo. But yeah, I'm going to the Hitchcock show, which has got Butterbean versus Suzuki. I'm not going to Bloodsport. I'm going to TNA instead, which is I'm not. Josh Barnett building up a Pete Dunne announcement. He's no way. Not happening. I'll go to TNA and live with the results. Got TNA. I can't remember what I'm doing. But I got all the WWF shows, which I like. I have a lot of concerns, I mean, I think this could change me, guys. I'll be honest with you. I mean, if you think I'm struggling now, I think I'm going to be 34.
All over again.
It could be worse, I think.
Nah.
Because I was fresh faced then. Now I'm like this,
Grizzled.
Just
grizzled.
It could go very poorly, is all I'm saying. But I mean, ultimately, it'll be cool to see some friends, and I'm sure I'll have fun. I guess.
I'll be have fun, mate.
Yeah. I'm just washed, man. I feel like I'm out of the loop on everything.
Anyway, you got anything you want to plug, bro, before we jump out of here?
I do actually. We are under 3 hours away, Monty. The LNG Hall of Fame, brother.
Oh shit.
The LNG Hall. We're gonna have 2 modern grapplers. We're gonna have an It Used to Be Better grappler. We're gonna have a tag team and a Grin Us. Someone on the LNG roster is going in the Hall of Fame, and they only found out today. That's gonna be revealed to the audience. We filmed their reaction to it. It was money, dude. We're going to play that tonight. There's a little scoop for the folks out there. So, we have that. No one on the show knows who else is going in. So it's going to be Surprise City. We got a cameo. We got some shenanigans. That's all I'm saying. LNG Hall of Fame, 11:05 Eastern. I think we're going to have like 8 people on the show. I have a format prepared. I have tweets and drafts. We have graphics. We have videos. We're locked in, brother. There's going to be a graphic on your timeline tonight that is going to get a big pop. That's all I'm saying.
Just wait.
I'm ready to go.
And if you haven't already, guys, please like the video. It's very important that you do leave us a like whilst you're still here and on your way out. It's just massively appreciated when you guys are active in the likes and the people who watch this after the fact, leaving comments and stuff like that, just engaging with us, bro. But leaving a like at the very least, please. Appreciate you guys all for watching. We will be back on. We'll be back on Monday. We're worldwide. And yeah, usual schedule, usual stuff, bro. And yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in, sending the super chats, and yeah, we'll see you on Monday. And of course, check out Late Night Green. And yeah, I think that's everything. All right, guys, peace.